Hey everybody, welcome to On Grade. This is episode 11. I'm Brandon Wineline. Devin can't make it tonight. He's not feeling too hot. So I got Joey
Palomo. There you
Palomo. I'm sorry,
go.
brother.
It's a mouthful.
From AGS.
That's right.
And AGS stands for Advanced Geodetic Surveys, and they're local here in Grapevine, Texas, and also in Houston, right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
That's right.
So Joey, how'd you get started in the dirt world, man?
So I want to say in the dirt world, I'd say more in the geospatial construction world, right? But essentially, I got started. I have a educational background in this. Did Texas State, construction science management, all that good stuff. And my first job out of school actually was I was working as a estimator for a custom home builder. So it was really, really cool to work for them, just because it was a smaller company, but I got to do so much. It was very fun, as versus the kind of cutness and dryness of the kind of commercial construction world, quote unquote. This was very cool because I got to do a lot of design work, ton in the CAD side of things. It was just a really, really good experience for me. But in doing so, I kind of worked my way up, and I ended up becoming a pretty integral part of the business on the estimation side. And I ended up, I was 23, 24 at the time, something like that. And I worked there for a couple of years, but I got eventually to the point where I was making a lot of the purchasing decisions for a lot of the material that we used during the estimation process. During that, worked with a lot of sales reps, and they took me out, they took me fishing, they took me hunting, they took me on all the fun boat trips, everything like that. And I was like, man, I could do sales. This sounds fun. All you do is wine and dine with somebody else's money, so eventually I kind of started looking around for sales jobs related around construction, kind of my background, and started with a company after the custom home builder. Started with a company. I'll leave the name out, and basically they did a lot of trench safety. So the company I came into, there was another rep there, and he just had every single account possible in our defined territory, which is San Antonio and kind of Central Texas area. Just he had been there for 30, 40 years, something crazy like that. So the only other thing for me to really try to sell was surveying equipment. So that's kind of what I did. I experienced a lot of success with that early on. And then AGS came and picked me up. I started as a rep and worked my way up from there. And now I'm a vice president of sales for Advanced Geodetic Surveys.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was looking at your LinkedIn profile, and man, you've moved up quick, man. It's
Yeah, that's
awesome.
right. Yeah.
It's and I know in sales it's a tough industry.
It is.
It's a lot different.
It
it's
is.
it's not on merit. It's on, are you producing?
Yes, you have to put up the numbers. You have to.
If you're not making the company money, they don't need you. I mean,
Exactly.
and I know it's very cutthroat in that industry. I know
It
you
is.
and me were talking earlier on the phone about it. It's
Uh-huh.
super cutthroat. So what drove you to the surveying end of it?
Really, I like solutions. I like selling solutions. So when I can go into a company and they say, well, we need to do, for example, and let's talk about kind of what you would be looking to do, right? You'd be looking to do a lot of bring survey in-house, do your own layout. If somebody knocks over a stake, you don't want to wait 2 weeks for a surveyor to get out there and charge you, whatever they charge you. I'd really like bringing those solutions in-house where I can train you how to use these surveying technologies, use this gear, use 3D LiDAR, use drone mapping, use all those crazy cool technologies, and show you how to use it. That's the most fun thing for me, to go into a client who's just cold, knows nothing. That's what motivates me. That's an ideal quote unquote sale, if you will, for me is going in and providing that solution. That's fun for me. There's no other way to put it.
So I gotta ask, what to you is more fun to sell? Is it the GPS side of it, or more of the robotic systems?
There it just depends on the solution. Sometimes you want better vertical accuracy, so that's going to be a robot all day that you guys are working outside, working inside, versus GPS. If you're just doing dirt work, things of that nature, obviously that's going to be the preferred solution. But man, if I had to pick, it's probably the whole GPS systems. Man, I just find the communication with the satellites, all the updates, it's getting really cool. It's getting super cool. And a new realm that we're going into is actually in GIS, so graphical information systems. And that is a big market. Even indoor GIS is becoming a thing where you map the inside. For example, there's one of the case studies we were kind of reading about at the last conference I went to over in California a couple weeks ago. They were basically, an airport had to use scanning technologies to map out their entire airport. Then with all that data, all that information, they bring it into an Esri product, and they're able to provide mapping solutions, an app-based map solution for the people that attend this airport that go here. They can pull up the app on their phone, and you can find out exactly where you're at in real time and navigate to the gate that you need to go to, the terminal, so on and so forth. So it's really cool stuff, man. It really is.
Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying the episode, but I'd like to take a minute of your time to talk to you about today's sponsor. Are you a GIS professional, land surveyor, or construction professional looking for the best in surveying equipment, software, and service? Look no further than AGS Inc. AGS Inc. is an authorized dealer for Topcon and Sokia surveying equipment dealer and EOS aerial mapping products dealer. With a supply store in Grapevine, Texas to serve the DFW Metroplex, Central Texas presence, and a corporate headquarters in Houston, Texas, AGS has you covered. Stop by and experience the AGS Inc. difference today. At AGS, it is a service after the sale that counts. AGS is the proud sponsor of the On Grade podcast. On Grade podcast listeners, give these guys a call if you want to talk about bringing precision surveying, layout, drones, GPS, GIS, or 3D scanning spatial technologies to your company. Thank you, and have a great evening. Back to the episode. The thing that I noticed too is when I first started I started in 06.
Okay.
I remember when the only guys that could afford GPS was like Weber.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because it was like, if you bought a $200,000 bulldozer, it cost just as much as the bulldozer back then to put a system on it.
Absolutely.
And it was 15 antennas. There was crap everywhere, wires all over the place. And I mean, a guy just bent something and it was 10 grand to fix it. I mean,
absolutely.
It's crazy now how cheap it is.
Yes.
We just had a screen go out on our 750 this week.
Okay.
It was $1,800.
Right.
10 years ago, I didn't want to know what that would have been.
$4,000 or $5,000.
Yeah, exactly.
At least.
And I noticed something though that I will say.
Sure.
That I wish would get better about it is something that Trimble's gotten into that I hope Topcon eventually does is, in Trimble's workspace, you can email the job to the machine. And Topcon's not quite there yet.
So actually, they do. Topcon offers a cloud system called Enterprise. Actually,
oh, they do. Okay,
they sure do. So, and in my opinion, so we were a Trimble dealer for a little over 30 years.
Yeah.
So, which that actually ended up being very good for us. We sell the product, whatnot. But our new partnership with Topcon, they really cater to the construction market. I'd say more so than Trimble, in my opinion, having represented both companies. And that enterprise system, that cloud-based system is, if we look at the old days, right, where you had to plug in a USB port, take that USB, take it into the office, they'll plug it up into their computer, they upload it to CAD, and they do their work from there. This is just one button click, and then it's already in the office. They can see in real time exactly what you did, what type of data that you're looking to forward, all that good stuff. So,
sounds like I got to sit down and talk to you about that.
Yes, yeah, we can talk.
Yeah, we need to talk about that one day this week. What would you recommend? Been doing these episodes about starting your own construction company.
Sure.
So for guys getting into the dirt world right now,
sure,
what would you recommend a good setup for them to start with would be?
Man, I really, really think so. There's when it comes to GPS, I'm going to nerd out for a minute, so please
go
bear
for
with
it.
me. Hopefully, I don't.
That's
put
what
anybody to sleep.
This is why I got you on there.
All right, well,
trying to help these guys.
All right, well, awesome. So what I would really recommend is that we'd go into there's two types of solutions we can offer. Thing I'd probably recommend most, especially for the dirt world, is going to be GPS. That's what everybody's using. Everything is done in geospatial control points, everything like that. So there's a system called a base and rover, which you're basically buying a base station. So you're paying the cost for that base station, and then you're also paying for the cost for the rover. So it's a little more time to set up. You are limited by distance. And so what a lot of people are doing now is what's called a network rover. So basically they're getting their corrections, which is essentially getting you down to that 4 millimeter type of accuracy. And that's coming all through the air. It's using cell SIM card data to go ahead and bring those corrections to you. But with the network rover, you're only buying one system. So it's literally just, you have your collector, you have your GPS head. It's just firing it up and doing your layout. And it makes the whole thing a lot cheaper, a lot simpler. And as soon as you get on the job site, within 30 minutes, I can have somebody laying out points who's never even touched that piece of technology.
So what that piece you're talking about, I remember last time we were in the shop, you guys were talking to us about it.
Sure.
I never heard of it before. Is how much extra is that system to add on to say a $20,000 setup? How much would that be?
Just for like a GPS.
Like, a Basin Rover normally is running between 20 and 25. So
They're getting up there now.
yeah,
they're getting
well,
up to
yeah,
40,
I'm also
50.
talking 5 years ago. So, I did just finally get a VR. So yeah, I
Okay,
think it
awesome.
it was 30 when I got the VR. I think it was 30.
Right on.
But that's the part you're talking about where it's correcting over cell data.
Right.
How much
So
extra is that set up?
So basically, that's it depends on the type of network solution that you're looking for. What we recommend is actually something from Leica or Hexagon Group called Leica SmartNet. We find that it probably has the best amount of coverage in Texas, as well as nationally, depending on your scope of work and where exactly do your work. However, that's like 1385. Don't quote me on that. I believe somewhere right around there per year. But with that, you're also paying for a lot more convenience, and you're paying a lot less upfront cost. So if you were to come to me today and say, hey, I need a TopCon layout solution, you're probably looking to pay 15-ish, somewhere right around there, 15 to 20 for that system. But it's literally just fire it up and you are laying out points
Okay.
right on your job site.
So we're running VRs, and I
Sure.
think our VRs ran us between 25 and 30. That's about right, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Somewhere right in there.
And so you're saying it's about $1,300 a year to add that
The
service
network correction service.
to each rover.
That's right.
So it's per rover.
It's per rover.
Okay. So I guess we're going to be sitting down and talking again. Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah.
This is turning out to be very fruitful for
Yeah,
me.
I know. This is an expensive episode.
Yes.
So what how is the industry to you right now looking in 2023?
So there's several vertical markets of the geospatial industry. We'll focus on construction.
Yeah.
One of the things as our reps are really delving into acquiring more construction clients is folks are worried about a couple things. One is liability. What is bringing surveying in house? What's the liability with that? How much liability can they possibly mitigate by doing that? How much could they possibly add? How much more liability does it add to their workflows? So that's one thing I would say that's a pretty common concern. The next thing is going to be apprehension to adopt a lot of these. I think a lot of people see these price tags and they're like, well, I mean, this is a lot of money. $40,000 for a whole system, or $20,000, whatever that might be. It's a lot of money, but really, it's hard for people to conceptualize the ROI. So that's what we really try to go in and show them. Look how much more productive you are. You're not waiting on anybody else. You're not being bottlenecked by waiting on a server. You're not being bottlenecked by waiting on anything. But what you're really doing is you're speeding up your own productivity. Mm-hmm. There's a utility contractor over in Bernie that we recently worked with, and they were kind of like, well, it seems like a lot of technology. Our guys aren't going to want to use this. And in 30 minutes, I had them laying out points, and I called them out a couple of weeks after to follow up with them, and they're like, man, we are so happy. We want to get one of these systems that every single project manager's hands. And I think on this one particular job I'm referring to, I think they'd billed out $30,000 to their surveyor, and by bringing it in house, they paid half that cost, and now they're able to do it themselves. And it really is. If you're open to adopt it and you understand the return on the investment and what it'd be able to do for your company, it really is not that expensive at all. I mean, you're paying hundreds of thousands of dollars in rentals for your machines and your heavy equipment. This is a small portion that could save you a whole lot of time. You really can.
And another thing I'd recommend to the guys is there's other systems you can check out for like the guys that are running skid steers and stuff that are out on their own, that you're like doing barn pads and stuff. TopCon does make a system that's a laser system.
Yes.
That goes on a box blade system for a skid steer attachment. Yes. I can tell you guys, we run GPS on our skid steers, and it is incredible. Our guys can go on the smaller jobs where we can't really justify bringing a motor grader out, and they can finish that whole job with just a skid steer.
Right.
And it looks just as good.
Right.
So that's what I wanted to ask you was, what would you recommend to that guy that say he's been at it a couple months, he's starting to get a lot of work doing barn pads, stuff like that?
Sure.
What would be a good setup for him to do for his skid steer?
Well, in order for him to see the return on investment without spending a whole lot of money, I'd probably opt to have him rent it. Hey, man, just try it on one job, kind of see what it looks like on one particular job that you're doing. And that's probably the system I'd recommend for them is just going in with a network rover or even a robotic system. Just try it out. Just just take that plunge. A lot of folks are very apprehensive to adopt new technologies because they're like, well, we've been doing it the same way for X amount of time. Why would I change it? Why would I reinvent the wheel? But in reality, you have to be forward thinking because this is where the market's going. This is another tool in the tool belt that everybody will have within the next 5 years. So do you want to wait until you're playing catch up with everybody else, or do you want to get ahead of the game? Because if I were to approach you now and you're already very forward thinking, you're already using a lot of these technologies, Brandon, you're going to be that much further ahead than your competition in the next 5 years, just because now you and I can have the conversations. What does having a laser scanner look like? What would having a full 3D LiDAR drone look like versus the conversations we're having with the people that are very, very, very slow to adopt these new technologies? Are going to be, well, let's introduce you to GPS. You're going to be light years. You'll be running circles around these guys.
Yeah. The thing here, especially in the Metroplex, though, a lot of the contractors here adopted it when it first got big. I would say 10 years ago. I remember when it got to the point where when I first started, it'd be like one machine on the job would have it.
Right.
And now pretty much all of them do.
Right.
I mean, they figured out how to put it on track loaders now. I mean, it's
Right.
insane, dude. Like, they were like, we'll never be able to figure out how to put it on a track loader. No, they put it on a track loader.
Right.
They've got it on scrapers, excavators, rollers. I mean, you think anything, you're like, what? They put GPS on that? Why do they got GPS on that? But, I mean,
Right.
it helps. Everybody
Absolutely.
on the job knows what's going on.
Absolutely.
Because the old days, you knock the stake over, it's like, I can't work. I can guess.
Right.
I can
Right.
ballpark it, but when you're constantly going, get the blueprints out and let me double check my hubs and,
Sure.
Did they move the hubs or, oh crap, we got to run a level loop because I think one of the base points is screwed up, and it's, but I will tell you, this is how old school I am.
All right.
When we start a job, we shoot all our control points in with still
Tell me.
transit.
A transit? Okay. Well, hey,
Yeah,
get the
and
job
we
done.
still shoot our control. Now we go out there with our GPS and verify it.
Sure.
But we shoot it in with a transit because that doesn't lie.
No, it doesn't. It
A
doesn't.
transit will never lie. I mean, as long as you keep them calibrated, they'll, you get them calibrated every 2 years, just like GPS, man.
Right.
They run great.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I do agree.
What do you think it takes right now for these smaller construction companies to get their guys some training on it? Like, what does it take?
I think what it does take, Brandon, is finding a very good partner. There's a lot of these dealers out there, and it's a very, in my opinion, on the survey side, it's very saturated. It really is. And there's a ton of different options. There's the super low end units. There's manufacturers that cost $2,000 per system, and then there's other systems out there that are $30,000 per one GPS unit. And if you need two, you're looking at $60,000 plus the software, everything like that. So I'd say finding a good partner who's really going to not only sell you the equipment, right, which everybody wants to do, but also support you after that sale is made, and really ensure that you guys are up and running, and everybody that is a stakeholder in the job, everybody internally within your company is up to speed on these technologies, and where you can just hand this to an operator and say, hey man, I need you to go that stake you knocked down, I need you to go set one again, to where he's able to do that. I think that's the ultimate reality is finding a partner that's willing to train your guys and go in and truly be a partner for you.
Well, a lot of people don't realize you can buy really good systems used. And
Yes, that's our game.
Yeah.
That's what we did.
I told a friend of mine, he just started up, and I told him, he's like, man, I want the systems, but I don't have the credit. I don't have this. I'm like, hey, you can go buy an old school Topcon V. They're still
right.
running them right now.
That's right.
The service will end in a couple of years, but at least you'll get your foot in the door. I said, dude, you can get those systems used for like $8,000.
Oh, that's right. So
Yeah.
that was kind of our game, Brandon, is we took very, very high-end gear. We rented it out to folks. We were heavy in oil and gas back when that was booming. And it's getting back there, but it's another conversation for another day.
Yeah.
But we would rent it out. We'd get a little bit, of equity, quote unquote equity, put back onto those units, and then we would bring it to market to where they're getting super high end gear that's still under warranty, that's still serviceable, that still does the job at a fantastic level of performance. But you're paying half the freaking price, man.
Yeah.
And that's really where I want AGS to be. Is where we can provide those awesome solutions, provide awesome service, which is what we're really known for, and provide that at a cost that's not going to that's worth that value of what it brings to you.
Yeah, we we've been looking for, like you and I were talking earlier today.
Sure.
The unfortunate thing is most of the shops now have gotten so big, they don't work with the smaller guys out there. I'm fortunate that I'm kind of big enough now that when they try to play those games with me, I just go, okay, dude, I'll go somewhere else.
I'll go to the next guy.
Yeah.
Right.
And, then they call you. Oh,
Right.
hey, man, I'm sorry about that. We weren't
Yep.
trying to, it's sad that you got to be that way. But what are you seeing in regards to like newer contractors? Are most guys pretty willing? Is it the younger generation real willing to use
Yes.
it, and then the older guys
Absolutely.
aren't?
Absolutely. Whenever I go in on a deal with a new prospect, a new client who's interested in providing this type of solution, bringing their surveying in house, bringing their terrain modeling in house, it's usually the young project manager straight out of school who's the one telling their superiors, "Hey, we need this. This is what I learned how to do in school." And it's them bringing these types of technologies in. So as these guys move up into higher level positions to where they're making the decisions, we're only going to see this more and more and more and more. I believe.
I will say, I think the hardest thing right now for a lot of guys out there is, especially with the economy and everything, is they're going, okay, well, I've got GCs beating me up so bad on pricing right now, which is hysterical because inflation's through the roof.
That's right.
But the work's still being done for the cheapest it's ever been done in history.
Right.
And I still don't understand it. Like, I'm like, dude, the amount of overhead these contractors are ponying up now just to speed up their job 30%. Spending all this money on these systems, and it's amazing technology, but at the same time, it's huge costs that you got to add in. And most of these general contractors, they don't trust it. That's the unfortunate thing. And you have to prove it to them.
That's right.
And
That's right.
A lot of the concrete contractors out there still, they don't run it. So you're sitting there arguing with a guy that's running a laser
Right.
that he bought probably at a pawn shop.
Right.
Or at the Home Depot, because he didn't buy a name brand one. They never are running. I never see him running a Tremble or a Topcon laser. It's a Ryobi or So I'm like, dude, that's not even a real laser.
Yes.
And then I bust out my Transit. My guys shoot their hubs in, and they go, okay, yeah, tell me I'm off, and then we prove it. But it's sad that you spend all this money, but the people that you're working for don't trust it.
Oh, exactly.
And it's insane.
And that kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier. One of the major concerns in these construction companies adopting this technology, they're like, well, I'm now liable for my own points. Yeah, you can view it like that. But also on the flip side is you have a lot more, how do I put it? You have a lot more, when you go to a GC and say, let's look at something through like the lens of an MVP guy. If you're putting a hanger somewhere, you say, and you're following the exact plans, you're doing everything. You upload you upload the CAD drawing to your, to your collector, and you're doing your own layout in house. Everything's going to be within that 2 millimeter tolerance, right? 2 to 4 millimeter tolerance. You can go to your GC and say, no, my hanger's correct. You need to move that wall. I'm correct.
Yeah.
So it actually helps in terms of liability.
Oh, it does all the time.
And there's so many checks and balances within the software that you're selling yourself short essentially if you're worried about your own liability.
No, yeah, really and I didn't mean to say it that way. What I meant to say was, don't be constrained because of that thought. That's what I was trying to get at.
And you're exactly right.
And what I would say too, though, is a lot of people aren't looking at this part of it. When you go out there, like you just brought up, setting up your own control points. Something I learned the hard way: you still make the contractor set up the. General contractor set your control points, or the client,
and most of them do.
Most of them want to.
That's right.
And it is nice because when you go to run that level loop, you can go, "Hey, dude, your level loop's wrong.
Right.
My grades are right.
Right.
So your guy screwed up, didn't put the world coordinates in the right area. My pad's off 4 inches in the wrong direction because of your coordinates."
Versus before, you had no way of defending yourself.
No.
You had no way at all to where they're like, "Hey, Brandon, this is
I
this is
get
on
change
you."
orders all the time for this crap, dude.
Oh, absolutely,
dude. You know how many jobs? I'm sure you know this. You probably hear about it all the time. Probably 80% of my jobs have grade bus nowadays.
Yeah, I believe
these civil engineers now. They don't do any real work. They don't pay a true surveyor. They take the plot plan from 10 years ago, and all this building's been going on. People dumping dirt everywhere. There's been jobs that were next door that just push the dirt over on that lot, spread it out. You can't tell. I mean, dude, I did a job a year ago that had 7,000 extra yards on it than what was called out in the drawings.
Yeah, I believe it.
I mean, it's just insane. Like,
Yep.
but if I didn't have that technology, I wouldn't have caught that.
Exactly, and then it probably would have come out of your pocketbook in some
I would have hauled
capacity.
it. Never.
That's right. That's right.
What leg do I got to stand on? Once you take a blade of grass off the ground,
right.
it's yours, baby.
That's right. So let's look in terms of error. We were at one point we were trying to bring a product to the market called the Topcon LN150 was the name, and it was really catered to the MEP market. I don't consider that bringing that to market in Texas a success, and the reason being there was so much apprehension from MEP guys in doing their layout. But really, you can increase your productivity by like 500%.
Yeah.
Instead of having a whole team of HVAC guys, for example, go do your layout, you just need one guy. You need one guy. But they were so nervous about the liability, they failed to kind of adopt and I want to say understand, but they failed to kind of see the other side. It was one of those things where if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But that's, to me, that's not a great mentality to have if you're going to be forward thinking and you really want to participate in if you want to be a part of the future of construction and where these technologies are going.
Yeah, I agree. The one thing that I noticed that's gotten really great is it sped up the process so much in doing the job, but it in a way has also kind of hampered us in another, because now you got operators that are so reliant on GPS technology
Right.
that they can't go back to old school. I'm one of the few left that
I'm sure.
I'm in a weird spot. Like I'm not the young generation, but I'm not the old guys either.
That's right.
They call it we actually have a name for it now in construction.
Okay,
they
what's
call
that?
it the lost generation.
Okay.
So we're the generation of kids that our parents told us, hey, you need to go to college. I think you and me are close in age.
Right.
And you need to go to college and you need to get a desk job, or you need to go to corporate America. You don't need to be in the trades. Like my dad was in the trades. My uncle's in the trades.
Right.
So I didn't follow the rules. I went in the trades. But back then it wasn't popular. Like I remember when I was in high school, I said, hey, I work construction in the summers. And everybody was like, why are you doing that? You know,
Right.
that's what you're going to college, right? I'm like, well, I'm going to the military. And after that, I'm going to go to college.
Right.
And, then I went to college combat for 8 years. It was a great time. But I did go to college. But I was working construction while I was going to college.
Yeah, absolutely, man. There you go.
And I didn't even get my degree in what I do. I mean, it's funny. I got a computer science degree thinking I wanted
Really?
to be
Okay.
Oh, God. I thought I want. Well, I went online and I was like, what's the 10 highest paying jobs that you don't have to be outside for?
Sure.
And one was being a cybersecurity analyst. And I was like,
Okay.
well,
That sounds cool.
Right. So then I started doing it. I'm like, this is the most boring. Dude, it was just code. It was servers. I was like, this is not me.
Right.
Had to wear a suit and tie every day. I'm like, this is not me.
Yeah.
So
I couldn't see that, Brandon.
no, that's not me. No. So
I could not see that.
I ended up going back to construction and back to the oil field and all that.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. There you go.
But I'm in that weird spot though, because like
You are.
I know the old school way of doing it. Like I remember when I first started, everything was done with the lasers, transits, water levels, level loops,
Right.
torpedo levels.
Right.
Like, I mean, I came up the old school way, man. You had to bust out a 10th ruler, not the tape measure because they didn't exist
Right.
yet. You had the foldable one.
There you go. Click, click, click.
Yeah,
click,
and you
click.
had a 20-foot long, level that you had to hang off the side of where the cut was, and there was always piles of dirt wherever a stake was where your cuts were, so you didn't lose your point.
Right.
Once in a blue moon, you drive by a job, still got that. So that brings back
Right.
some memories for me. I'm like, oh, man, I remember doing that back in the day.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. So,
Heck yeah.
there's some guys out there still running like that, but,
Oh, there's a lot more than you think.
right.
There is
But I see them doing it, and I go, our guys would have cut that out in 2 days, had it on grade, and left. And they've
Right.
been out there a week.
Right. Right.
So it does speed it up, guys. Like I'm telling you, you guys that are just starting out, man, just getting a basin rover, man, it's going to set you up for success. The other thing I would recommend is these companies like AGS here do offer training. So
That's right.
that's something you would need to look into. Find your top-notch guy. And also, guys, if you put up online that you're looking for grade checkers and TopCon, 9 times out of 10, the guys that really know their stuff, they're going to call. They'll be like, hey, you need help setting up your GPS department. And a lot of guys are willing to help you.
Oh, absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
It's one of the few areas in our industry I noticed that everybody's like super helpful. more.
It's
more,
weird, right?
Yeah, more so than any other area. Like
Yes.
you deal with your mechanic guy. Oh, I'll get to you when I get to you. You call a GPS guy. He's like, yeah, I'll be out there tomorrow. It's like,
Cool.
cool. All right.
I like that.
Dude, I can't get my motor fixed on my dozer, but at least I can get my sensor fixed on my dozer.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, what are you seeing? What are you guys' goals at AGS for next 5 years? What do
The
you
next
guys,
5 years, man, I'd love to open up. I'd say first, I'd love to open up a few more locations.
What are you guys thinking?
So I have this idea of these underserved markets, I'll call them, where there's a lot of work and there's a ton of infrastructure going on, but there's very, very little service. And there's 3 areas that I've personally have clients in, and I personally frequently actually go to these places. And that's Laredo, that's Corpus, and that's the Valley.
Yeah, I could see that because Corpus was blowing up when I was working down there.
There is, and there's so much work down there. And these guys are driving to San Antonio to go pick up supplies, to go pick up their surveying equipment, to pick up a lot of the software. And a lot of these folks are very traditional in the sense they want somebody on their job site showing them how to use it, and they're just not a presence. So I would really, really love to see us be able to grow and expand into those markets as well, because I really think we could do a lot for those clients over there.
Is there much of a presence with the dealers down there, like Holt
No.
and all them, or an RDO?
I'd say with some of the heavy equipment, I think there's a presence, but on the geospatial side, there's just not.
Yeah, because Holt's got a factory now down that way.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
think they got one in. It's not in Laredo. It's in San Antonio, right?
Man, I'm not too sure.
I know it's in the Val. It's in South Texas. I just
Right.
can't remember where it's at. I know they moved one of the plants from Illinois down there.
Right, and I'll say this about the Valley too. I mean, the Valley is a very special place to me. It's where my dad's side of the family's from, and I still got family down there.
Yeah.
But I remember as a kid going down there, and I think there was one Luby's, and that was the only restaurant. And now, man, they got everything. They got it's insane. It's blown up. There's so much in an absolutely ungodly amount of infrastructure work going on.
Oh,
over there.
yeah.
And they need somebody. They need a presence down there. I just have to be able to justify the cost of doing so, of course. But ultimately, I would love to be in those markets. The other kind of in reference to your original question, the other corporate goal of mine is really entering into that GIS market. I think the GIS market, the graphical information systems, is a huge one. I think it's about 10x the size of survey, if I'm being honest. And so that's an area where I really think we could do a whole lot for a whole lot of clients. And right now we're actually working on becoming an official business partner, preferred mapping dealer, if you will, for with Esri. Which Esri dominates about 80 to 90% of the GIS market. So that's a huge feather in our hat once that actually gets completed. So we'll be covering Texas, Louisiana, Oklahoma, New Mexico, Arkansas. I think there's one more state I might be leaving it out. But it's a nice territory for us, and I think there's a whole lot of potential cultivation that we can do in these markets. I really do.
I think the construction boom is going to continue, even though the interest rates are going up a little bit. I just want to hear your take on it. But
Yes.
Yes. I'm not seeing any signs of slowdown. I will say, though, it's been really strange. Maybe you noticed it, too, if you talk to some of your other clients.
Sure.
But the last about 4 or 5 weeks, man, I've been getting rebids on stuff, but not many pulling the trigger. Minus our, like, ISD work.
Right. And that's something I'm seeing, too. I
Yeah.
mean, I have a whole pipeline of potential hardware, software training that I'm literally just waiting on the green light from my clients. I put in this bid. And I'm just waiting to get it. So there seems to be somewhat of a stagnation, in my opinion, right now. I think a lot of people are worried, like you mentioned, about the interest rates. And it's funny that you mentioned that, because I feel like in Texas we are so blessed and we're so insulated from the rest of the country. Anytime there's economic downturn, there's ridiculous inflation like there is now. In Texas, we're very lucky to be where we're at, man, because we're always so insulated. There's always work to be done, and I do not see it slowing down. But I will agree.
So, in the recession that they are saying is possibly coming right now,
or it's already here. I don't know. I keep hearing different things every day.
Yeah,
I try to stay in front of it, but
I watched that Frontline thing about it. They actually just came out with it, talking about the banks that just canned and all that stuff.
Right.
What would you say is like biggest things we got to watch out for?
That's a good question. I would say at least so how we do things at AGS as it comes to financials, we like a very I'll just speak through my lens, by the way. So we take a very ready, aim, fire type of approach. And the reason doing so is because things are scary right now. The banks are going out left to right. The bank is breathing down our throat, looking at our P&Ls, looking at what we're doing. And I'm sure we're not the only ones. It's across the board from everybody. But again, I'm speaking through AGS lens. So it's us being very calculated and very careful, and very thoughtful in our planning, in our fiscal planning, our fiscal budgeting. We're not in the position anymore, nor do I think anybody is anymore, where we can just willy-nilly go and R&D and go try things. We can't just try things. We need to be extremely calculated in what we're doing. So that would be kind of my advice to everybody right now is be calculated. Yeah. Be very strategic in where every dollar is going. I know even when it comes to something as simple as kind of my my expenses and the company expenses in general, we're always looking to, okay, where can we be a little more efficient? Where can we bring a little more value? Because in today's time, we have to be very, very careful with how we're spending our money and making sure every single dollar is not only for the business, but we get a return on that dollar spent.
Yeah, it's getting harder and harder to make a profit right now too.
Oh, absolutely.
Material escalations,
everything is price. Everything is it's to the point where it's not solutions based selling anymore. It's price based selling, and I hate that. I hate as a sales guy myself. That's where I got my start. Right, was in sales. I hate selling on price because it's easy. Let's say somebody were to approach you, man. I got this unit, I got this GPS system for $4,000, but we don't see, you love the price. That's awesome. That's a cool price. That's fantastic. Everybody saves a bunch of money. What you don't see is the lack of support, the lack of product longevity, the fact it's going to have to go in all the time. Those are other things that people don't look at. And I hate the fact that, at least on the survey side, seemingly to me right now, everything is price-based. The promotions we've been running, the marketing that we've been pushing, is kind of centered all around price because that's what people are looking at right now. And we have to do our due diligence on the sales side and on our end to be sure that we're thoughtfully explaining what the service looks like and why the costs are the way they are. And I have no problem telling people, hey, Brandon, you're in business to make money. I'm in business to make money. We have to meet somewhere in the middle, man. It's a business. We're not a charity. It's something that I always tell my sales guys. We're not a charity. We're in business to make money, just like our clients are. So that's kind of my 2 cents on things.
Well, Joey, if you're ever looking for work, man, I might need you to come over and be my guy and sit down with some of these damn GCs and be like, hey, bro, you're not the only ones here to make money.
That's right.
Because they got it in their head that nobody else should make money. I'm telling you, it's getting terrible, man. These owners and these GCs, I don't care. I don't care if they're listening. I really don't. They don't give a shit about us, man. They play like they do. They always post on LinkedIn, oh, we're all about our trade partners and all this stuff.
Partners, right? Trade partners.
Trade partner. Yeah, no. Let's classify this. Slave labor. Yeah, okay.
That's funny, man.
I work for developers when I can, man, and I'll tell you something. When you can go direct with those guys.
Why is that? I'm kind of more curious. I'd pick your brain on that a little bit.
You got out a middleman, man.
Okay.
It's like, it'd be like you getting a direct line to, probably because you guys don't have to deal with a middle. You might, though, on some stuff.
It'd be like us if we were manufacturing the products that we were representing.
It was literally, you were dealing with the guy at the factory. Like, it'd be that equivalent to it. Like, you're dealing with the guy that's fronting the bill, that's paying the bills, that's... Right. It's his baby. Like he's selling this property after it's developed to, whatever company is buying it. And you're dealing with him. So you're dealing with the owner. And it's so much easier. And you can make so much better money. The margins are there because they take out that percent that the GC's taking.
Sure.
And they're going to give you a little bit of it. They're not going to give you all of it. Sure. But you make better margins. You tend to get paid faster.
Right.
Really a lot faster.
Right.
I worked for a guy for years. He went back to doing GCs, though. He got so burned out on dealing with subcontractors.
Yeah, okay.
He paid in 7 days.
Wow, okay.
I mean, I'm talking huge draws. $300,000-$400,000. He's paying it 7 days. Just cutting you a check.
Wow. But let me ask you this. How bad would you love to go and work for this guy again?
Oh, I'd kill him.
Yeah.
But he doesn't want to deal with it anymore. That's
right.
Thing.
So I look at something, which I'm glad you kind of brought this up. I look at something called LTV, or lifetime value, out of a particular client. If it means right now that I have to spend a little more time providing you a little better support, if I spend a little more time dealing with providing a catered, custom tailored solution for you, I'll do that because you're going to come back to me every time, Brandon. And that's what a lot of these large scale dealers fail to realize is when you provide that level of service, that level of training, regardless of the price. Let's forget about that for a second. When you're providing that true turnkey solutions based sales approach, these guys will come back and they will buy from you. If you provide that level of tech support, my clients love working with me because I do my own tech support.
Yeah.
I'm not, unless it's something way out of my scope of what I know how to do, right? But I love to do my own tech support. Even I might be on the phone for an hour, and sure, I have many other things I could be doing, but I'm here to support you, the client.
Yeah, exactly.
And at the end of the day, they're going to come back to me and we're going to create a lot more lifetime value out of these individuals.
I try so hard to treat my suppliers the best I can. I really do. The unfortunate thing is because of how slow I'm paid sometimes, it makes it difficult to get them paid. And so most of them get it. They do. Most of them have been doing it so long, they understand that. But, it's really bad when during COVID, everybody would call and check on you. How you doing? Are you healthy? Are you okay?
Sure.
And then we got back to normal and everybody's just calling now. And I'm like, hey, how you been? Oh, I'm good. Hey, how about that invoice? You're like, okay. We're back to that now. We're not just talking.
We're not friendly anymore.
We're not pleasantries anymore.
Right.
And it's sad because when you've grown a company that much that you're not the guy they call anymore to deal with the field problems.
Sure.
They only calling you about a check.
Sure.
It does kind of.
Yeah, it kind of sucks, man. It kind of. Hey, how you doing? And they get around to the money portion of things.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, I'm doing great. Hey, invoice number 226. How we looking on that one?
Right. Well, hey, everybody's trying to get paid at the end of the day. Everybody's.
And I totally get it. Man.
And I really appreciate you saying that you really, really try to treat your suppliers well, because we have clients that we don't like working with.
Yeah.
We have clients that we love working with.
Oh yeah.
Because it's a relationship at the end of the day. And if you set that boundary with somebody like us or any other supplier for that matter and say, hey, a lot of how I like to pay is contingent on when I get paid, but I will pay you.
Yeah.
You just send us a check today.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, yeah.
But it's because we have that working relationship.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times, I feel like a lot of these very, very large dealers will put themselves in a box because they here are our terms. No. Sure, terms are terms, and this is ideal. This is what I would like to see. But sometimes it's about working with those clients because in another 5 years, you very well could have 250 employees. Yeah. And I'm now your number one guy because I worked with you for the first 6 months of our relationship.
Yeah.
For the first 6 months. And what did we create? We created LTV. We created lifetime value out of this working relationship as a small microcosm of kind of what I'm saying here.
And that's the thing that we deal with. We try to do good work for our clients, and then, you work for 10 of them and 2 take care of you.
Right.
And the other 8, they just take, no give.
Yes. And this is what we were talking about earlier today. Yeah. My biggest sales philosophy, and I've said it till I'm blue in the face, every single one of the sales staff that works with me, even on the operational side of things too, I say one mantra all the time, and that's you have to give before you get.
Yeah.
So let's say I'm prospecting, let's say I'm cold calling you, Brandon.
Yeah.
I have to give my time. I have to give my energy. I have to put on a smile. I have to bring that level of energy to you to where you're excited about the solution. And that's giving. That's me giving. I'm giving my time.
Right.
But I'm also going to get something out of that, right? I'm going to get hopefully some business. Hopefully I'm going to get some more word of mouth, some positive feedback at the very least. But you have to give before you get. And that's the way of the world. That's what makes the world goes round, man. You got to give before you get.
It really is hard though with everything, and
it's getting harder to give now.
Yeah,
it's getting harder to give.
It's getting harder to be a nice person.
Yes, man. Yes, yes. It's hard because we want to take care of. And I know one of the things that you and I were talking about earlier today, off air, is that. I think one of the things that it seemingly to me that makes you really happy is the fact you take care of your guys. When we started talking about how you treat your operators, how you treat your personnel, man, you were super excited because you love that.
Yeah.
Just like AGS's owner, PJ Myers, he loves to take care of his employees. He loves when we're all making money. He loves when the business is doing well, obviously, right? And he loves hiring new people and bringing new people into the organization. But the thing, at the end of the day, we have to do what makes sense. We're not a charity. We're not a charity, and neither are you.
No.
Neither are you. But we love to take care of people, and it's getting harder and harder and harder and harder to truly take care of people in that way. It is. It is.
I had a
given the economy, given everything else.
I had when we were doing utilities for a little bit. We had a utility estimator. Her name was Dawn. Amazing woman and full of insight. But she used to say it all the time in our operations meetings. She would go, "It's .com, not .org."
Okay.
And I'll tell you, man, there's a lot of truth to that, man.
There is.
And, guys listening, when you're starting these companies up, me and Devin have been doing that special about starting your own business.
Sure.
You got to remember that. You can't set yourself up for a situation where these great guys like this, AGS and stuff, they bust their butt to help you out. And then you get yourself in such a bind you can't pay them back. And you got to remember that it's all a chain, guys. It starts at the top and it goes all the way down. Because that guy that's hauling dirt for you, he gets another guy that stiffs him. He might have to sell his truck. He might have to lay some guys off. He's jumping back in the truck, having to run dirt.
That's right.
I mean, just because they're a bigger company, man, don't just look at it like, oh, well, they can hold off a little bit. It's all a big circle, man.
That's right. That's right.
Business is just a giant circle.
It is.
Money never stays in one spot. It's just constantly flowing.
It's fluid.
It's fluid. It's a liquid form.
That's right.
And if people would just realize that you can't make people finance your jobs.
That's right. We can't finance for free. That's not a sustainable model. It's just not.
The bank doesn't let you do that.
No. Nobody does.
You overdraft your bank account, they charge you $35.
That's right, man. I used to do that all the time in college, admittedly. I was about to say it was $35 because I knew that right off the top of my head.
Bro, I was a broke ass specialist in the Army, dude. I blow all my money at the bar, and we only got paid on the 1st and the 15th. It wasn't every 2 weeks. It was the 1st and the 15th.
Okay.
So between the 15th and the 1st, sometimes it'd only be like 13 days.
Right.
Well, if you had a long month like a 31st, you're going 17 days sometimes on a paycheck. So by then, you're eating ramen and
peanut butter.
Yeah,
peanut butter with a spoon.
I used to go to Walmart when I get paid, and I'd buy the big boxes of ramen, and I'd buy ranch, and I'd buy like some salsa and stuff, so I can mix it up. I'd be like, I'm gonna make chicken, ramen with some ranch.
Yes, dude. I have two stark memories. One is scrounging for quarters in between the couch cushions.
Yes,
trying to put gas in my Toyota 4Runner with a huge ass dent right in the middle of the damn grill, right in the front. They called it. I was in a fraternity in college. They called it the frat runner back in the day. 'Cause it was just a piece of shit, man. It really was. And so I remember paying for gas and quarters, man. Those were the freaking days.
I know, man.
And then there's a Carl's Jr. Right across the street from my apartment in college, man. We'd go there and pick up. I'd be like, if I had one meal for the day, if I just had my $1 burger and my value fry, man, I was solid. Man, I was cooking with gas at that point.
Dude, there was so many times I was like, I'm an E4 in the Army. I've been in the Army for 4 years, and I'm still broke. How is it possible?
All your expenses paid, but you're still broke.
Yeah, I'm like, they paid for our apart. You lived in the barracks. You might as well be condemned. But you lived in the barracks, and their meals were paid for.
Right.
Yeah, you want to eat chow hall food? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
It's just, it was fun, man. But it's funny when you grow up and you got to pay all your bills, and then as a business owner, you have to pay all these other bills.
Well, the thing is, those other bills, are it's not. It doesn't go directly back to you. It's for your. To me, if your employees are happy, that makes me so satiated, and that makes me so full. Truly. To know that they're happy being where they're at. To have one of my sales staff come up to me and it's like, man, I love working here.
Yeah.
I love being a part of this team. Dude, you might as well that makes me happy. That's awesome to hear.
You're winning in business when you're doing that.
That's right. That's right.
I don't have a bad turnover with my guys. The problem that I'm running into right now is I'm in such, we talked about, I'm in that hamstring part. I'm coming out of it, but it is taking forever.
It's hard.
You go through 3 months of hard financial problems with not being paid and stuff.
Sure.
Everybody's like, oh, it should take 3 months. Multiply it by 6.
Yes.
Minimum.
Yes.
I'm at about at month 18, and I'm finally getting
kind of out of that, crawling out of that
I'm getting
cave.
out of it, but now the economy's slowing down.
Right.
Yeah.
So
it's like come on,
that's
man.
what I was telling you earlier, man. It's one speed bump after another,
man.
one wall.
It's just,
and even for a kind of thriving business and up and coming organization like AGS, it's wall after wall,
Wall
after
after
wall,
wall,
after
yeah.
wall. It's okay. How do I bring this to market? Okay, the market didn't accept this. Okay, well, how can I try this?
Yeah.
A lot of things to
It's always
me,
pivots.
it is. You have to. It's R&D, man. It's R&D. You have two options, at least on the marketing front. You can either provide a solution to those clients and you're letting the clients know what their solution is, or you can wait to see what they specifically need and then cater a plan based around that. Both of those things come with their pros and cons, both of them. And marketing and business growth and business development is all R&D. You have to create a culture of trial and error in order for you to bring something to market, because you have to really understand what makes people tick, what is going to make people want to buy this particular product. Right at the end of the day, it's R&D. Marketing is R&D, man.
Oh,
but
it
the thing
is.
is, it's hard to float the time while you're trying to do all this research and development based on what the market wants. You have to insulate your revenue somehow, right?
I think for contractors, the best thing they can do is when you're sitting in the truck on a job or something, and you're just sitting there waiting, or whatever you got a few minutes of your day. Swing by a job, take some pictures of you guys working, put it up on LinkedIn, put it up on Instagram, put it up on Facebook.
That's right.
Yeah, I know guys are like, oh, nobody really cares about that stuff. I would have never met these guys at AGS if
Right.
I hadn't been posting on LinkedIn.
That's right.
I would have never met Devin. I never would have met Doc Robinson. I never most of the guys I know, I met through social media.
Right.
And yes, I know a bunch of them from the old school way too, though, word of mouth. Hey, this is a really good silt fence guy. Hey, this is really, But since I've gone on LinkedIn and I've gone on these social media networks and I've broadened my company out, I've met so many people from all over the country and the world.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
if anything, it's helped me. It hasn't hurt me. There's so many people that message me every day, like, hey man, if you need anything with this, help, I can help you out. I get, how it is.
Yeah.
You're in business. I get 50 pitches a day, dude.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And honestly, 99% of them I don't need.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
just try to be polite and be like, hey man, I apologize.
Thanks for the call, man.
Thanks for the message and thanks for the call, but I'm good. And it's mostly those loan shark guys up in New York.
Oh yeah. You just got approved for
$98,000,
$350,000
with a $200,000 payback. Oh, okay.
That sounds legit.
So it's $550 payback. No, it's $200. No, it's $200 on top of the $350. Right?
And then 2% service fee. Right?
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, you don't get that full amount of money. We're going to take this percentage of it before we even give it to you.
Yes.
That's for processing fees.
Yes.
So
there's so much junk out, and I think through the lens of a business owner, one of the first things to kind of go, I think, is your marketing budget. If you're going to cut back any costs, I think that's one of the first things through the lens of a CFO, through the lens of a business owner. Okay, well, we'll just stop paying for ads. We'll just stop doing the social media. We'll just stop LinkedIn ads. We'll stop that, because it's so hard to judge branding. When you're branding a company, when you're branding an organization, it's so hard to see the numbers behind that. Mm-hmm. A lot of people, if you have two guys, one guy's explaining something, the other guy comes in with a spreadsheet, the guy with the spreadsheet's going to win every single time.
Yep.
Whoever has the spreadsheet, because the numbers do not lie, right? That's kind of the age-old verbiage. Numbers don't lie, but you're absolutely right that you have to have a social media presence. And we've been running ads. We've been doing things on Facebook. We're very active, obviously, like you said, we're very active on LinkedIn, engaging in the posts and posting articles, posting content of that nature. But it's very hard for me as in my position to kind of sit back and be like, okay, well, what's our return on this amount of ad spend? Because branding, there is no.
Yeah.
It's how do you characterize the return on investment as far as your branding is concerned?
Exactly.
It's hard to do. It's hard.
It really
you need to do it though. It needs to be done. In this day and age, it has to be done. And you have to kind of lower, if you're considering cutting marketing costs, you have to lower your shoulder and take the hit on the chin, man. Mm-hmm. You really do. You really do, because it's so important these days. It is.
Yeah, when you're building a company, you have to ensure that your marketing is in your budget. You no matter what you do. Whether you're weaving baskets or
right.
a steel contractor, dude.
Yes.
You have to have marketing in your budget, because yes, you can get a Craigslist ad all you want, but I'm going to tell you something. Those aren't the people you want to work for.
No, man. No. No.
Facebook Marketplace, those aren't the people you want calling.
Yes.
It's get on legit places like Home Advisor, all those kind of places. there's so many ways that you can market yourself
Yes.
and do it for free.
Yes. It costs. That's the
I
thing.
do. I made a YouTube channel for Iron Eagle.
Yes.
She can tell you, we didn't even realize it. I put a video up like a year and a half ago of a job we did at night transportation we did down in Wilmer, Texas.
Okay.
It's got 3,000 views.
That's awesome.
I didn't share it. I didn't do nothing. I just
it costs
posted
you the barriers to entry as far as social is concerned. Costs you very little money.
But I have the heart to sit down and get behind a computer and edit.
Sure.
I have the heart to learn about this kind of stuff. Like to me, this is marketing right here. Just
It is.
a podcast is
It's marketing for me. It's marketing for you.
Yeah, it's marketing your company. It's
That's right.
marketing On Grid. It's marketing Iron Eagle.
That's right.
It's there's so many things that you can do, guys, that don't cost any money.
That's right.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. This podcast setup, it was not free.
Yeah,
guys.
I'm sure it wasn't cheap. It's very nice.
You can do it on your phone. It's not going to sound good, but you can do it on your phone. Get a little cheap, mic that you plug in, and you can Bluetooth. I've seen so many setups of guys that are just starting up. My problem is I'm one of those guys, like, if I'm going to do something, I do it 100%. I don't play. I just go out. I go what I got to do, and I build the brand.
Right. Let me talk about a guy that used to work for AGS. He's a marketing guy. He had a strong marketing background. He was actually I think he did a lot of our SEO, and we ended up hiring him as a sales rep. He's since moved on. He moved and he moved locations, all that good stuff. But one of the things that was kind of a feather in his hat was that he started a party bus company, and he owned 0 party buses. Mm-hmm. All he would do, he just created an awesome website, created awesome content, had a huge social media presence, and was branded his party bus. And all he would do is contract out these party buses to other people with party buses, and he skimmed his percentage off the top.
It's like VRBO, dude. They don't own any of the houses. They just provide you the hookup to the guy that's renting the house out.
That's right.
I mean, Uber. The guy that invented Uber, man, is a genius.
Oh, absolutely.
No overhead.
No overhead.
I mean, there's none.
No cost of goods.
The software technicians he has to pay to maintain the apps. That's it.
Yeah.
I think they have offices now. But, I mean, when they first started up, you couldn't get a hold of anybody at Uber.
No.
You had to send an email.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. You had to send an email to support@uber.com.
I mean, dude, there's brilliant things out there. Like
there is. There is.
And that's what I'm saying. There's so many ways, guys, to make marketing a priority for your company.
That's right. And look, in an industry like construction, an industry like survey, these are industries that have been around for a very, very long time. And I'll be honest with you, I mean, we were talking about earlier about being kind of genuine. So I'll be genuine. The bar is low, man. And in terms of kind of the latest marketing, the social media, the bar is so low.
Oh God,
it takes 5%. It takes 5%. A little extra effort goes a long way. It takes. For example, one of the things that we're doing now, actually on Wednesday, I'm having somebody come out and we're filming commercials for AGS, along with those commercial, video-based commercials or content. Along with that, providing several kind of how-tos, how to connect a survey-grade GPS unit to your iPhone. Mm-hmm. It seems so simple, but a lot of people don't even know you can do that.
Yeah, and
that's video-based content. That takes very little upfront investment. A, B, nobody else is out there doing that.
Yep.
Nobody. When was the last time you saw from a geospatial dealer, which you know who they are? I'll leave names out. Yeah. When was the last time you saw any outreach in that capacity?
None.
The bar is low, man. And for you to be better than your competition takes 5% more effort.
Oh, yeah.
5% more effort.
It's just the grit to want to do it. There's
that's right.
I give mad props to like Forrest and those guys that run Eagle Eye and all those guys.
Right.
They get in these companies and they go, hey, man, we're gonna help you brand your company. I mean, I see Dow Dirt everywhere, and it's because of them. I mean,
that's right. That's right, man.
And like, there's companies I'd never even heard of before they're all over social media, and I'm like, I didn't even heard of this company before,
right?
But now I have because there's a company called Midwest Mole.
Okay,
that's a pretty clever name, actually.
It is,
but
it is.
I never heard of them, but I heard of them because of Instagram.
That's right.
Because they post up every day. They post something every day,
and as the more and more kind of are kind of similar. I think we're somewhat close. Maybe probably 10 years younger than you, maybe 8 years younger than you. How old? I'm 30. I just turned 30.
Oh yeah, you're baby, man. I'm 34.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you're 34.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I just age well.
Okay. Well, you look beautiful for your age, man.
Thanks, man.
Say that.
Appreciate it.
Well, so a lot of these guys, as they continue to kind of move up, and these our age group, These are the guys that started out as assistant superintendents that are now PMs here 4 years into the career. These guys are 30 years old. You should be well into your career at that point, in my opinion. These are the guys on Instagram. These are the guys on Facebook. These are the guys not necessarily shaking hands, but looking for the next guy to shake hands with.
Yeah.
And it's all via social media.
We're the tail edge of millennials.
That's right.
I tell people that. I'm like, there's a group of us that are different than the rest of the stigma. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, we know social media, but we don't have to, we don't live on our phone.
Yes.
We still will sit down, drink a beer, and have a conversation.
That's right.
And the phone won't come out.
That's right. We're kind of a unique breed, huh?
Yeah, we are. We're kind of old school, but new school at the same time.
That's right. That's right. It's a cool
I kind of
spot
call
to
us
be
the
in.
hybrids. I like calling us the hybrids because we still
good
played
name.
outside, drank out of a water hose, and then
Still,
we went
still
inside
had the
and played
bonfires
Xbox.
and yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. We are that weird spot, like
That kind of
right in between group.
So we recently hired a kind of say, like a better term, a batch of new sales reps, and kind of what I wanted to do originally was hire in. Well, first let me kind of backtrack. When you hire a sales rep that's very seasoned, that's great, but it also comes with its problems because they're very set in their ways. They don't want to adopt the kind of latest techniques, and something that I really am a strong believer in is in my sales philosophy is analytics-based sales approach. And so basically it's dealing with tons of volume. You take that amount of volume, you provide marketing campaigns to them, and then you kind of tear it down to, okay, which people opened these emails or these marketing emails, which people viewed this post, and then you cater to them. You cold call them because they're the ones showing interest. It's not just picking up the phone and randomly going down a phone book and cold calling. You take an analytics-based approach. A lot of the guys with tons of experience don't like to do that. They don't like, they want to go knock on doors, which is great. You can go knock on doors. You can go B2B. But the reality of it is it's sales, again, age-old adage, is it's a numbers game.
Yeah.
Kind of saying, like, when you bring in a guy who's very seasoned, it's hard for them to kind of fall in line to your program and how you like to have your sales guys do their activities. So I kind of went the opposite route, and I hired a bunch of really young people straight out of school with the idea that we can kind of coach them up and have them be seasoned salesmen here, very soon. What we found out was that wasn't necessarily the reality. The difference in work ethic, kind of to go back to the age thing, it's so different, man. It's so different. I don't know how I could provide any more support to these guys, but there was a lot of apprehension. Like, I love the type of sales guy. I'm like, hey, I need you to talk to this CEO. I need you to talk to this VP of this company. And they're like, can't wait. I'm excited. I can't wait to talk to this guy. Versus like, oh no, I'm not ready. And that's the difference, I think, in that age group. They kind of want just stuff to, I don't want to make these blanket statements, but based on what I've seen, is they kind of just want things to fall in their lap. But the reality of it is, you and I both know that's not the case. You have to go and get it. Yep. You have to go and earn. Sometimes it's calling somebody back leaving 6-7 voicemails. Honestly, honestly, if you believe in your product and you believe in your solution, you're doing them a favor. Yeah. You're not bothering. I hate the idea of, well, I don't want to bug him. No, you're not bugging him. You're providing a solution. You're going to help him make a lot more money.
Yeah,
you're
really are.
You're going to 10x his production.
Yep.
I have no problem calling somebody a million
You're
times.
beating them up 30% on a project.
That's right.
Yeah.
At the very least.
Crazy.
At the very least.
So, caveat to what you were saying, I can kind of compare from my end.
Yeah, let's hear it.
In construction, I kind of got the same problem with like field reporting softwares and adapting to, tablets and all that stuff. So we kind of ride a hybrid system. Like our guys still get folders and blueprints in hand, but they also run their tablets to do
I like
field
that.
reporting software, and they have the contract on digits. They have everything on digits still, but they also have it in paperback.
Sure.
Because it helps a lot when you have that on like a contract or something like that. You can just pull it out and go, nope, that's not my scope. Nope, that's not my – I don't have those plans. Oh, so you changed the plans and didn't tell us.
Sure.
Okay, so there's a grade change. That's change. It's just little things like that have changed, that we're adapting our end to as well, and
of course,
doing the right thing on that.
And I don't think you're wrong. I do think the answer is I do think the answer is somewhere right in the middle.
Right.
Everything I've been finding, we'll relate it back to business in general. You can, let's say you're faced with two decisions. You can go all the way to the left or you go all the way to the right with this particular shit. The real answer is probably somewhere right in the middle. Okay, should I only go B2B Or should I only make cold calls? No, man, you should probably do a little both. You should probably do a little email marketing. You should probably do a little cold call prospecting. You'll probably go knock on a few doors, visit a few job sites. That's the real answer. So you kind of run in that hybrid type of way that you like to do things. That's probably the right way. You're probably not
works,
wrong, man.
It
works.
Especially because I got young guys and I got old guys. So it's like
right.
it's like a really good mix, and it gets it done, and it gets the job done, and it's really proved to work for us running this hybrid system.
Awesome.
So
Awesome, man.
I really appreciate you coming on tonight.
Thank you for having me, man. This has been a great conversation, and happy to nerd out with somebody for once, you know?
I love to nerd out about a lot of things.
Yeah,
Star
me too.
Wars, history, construction, guns,
technology, guns,
Harleys.
Yes.
Yeah, those 5 things.
Oh man, I got to bring one of my sales reps on, man. He's a Harley nerd. Next
really?
time I'm in town, we'll bring him on.
Hell yeah, man.
We'll talk about Harleys for the next 2 hours.
Well, Joey, we appreciate you coming on.
Hey, likewise,
tonight.
man. Thank you for having me.
Hey guys, hope you enjoyed the episode. Please like and subscribe. We're gonna have episode 11 coming out here probably in the next week or so. It'll probably be me and Devin. We don't know if we'll have a guest or not yet, but we'll get that figured out and have you guys tuned in. Like I said, please like and subscribe. Smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the little bell. And on Spotify, let's get a 5-star. We'll hope to see you on the next one, guys. All right.
Thank you.
Take care. Have a good night.